the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And tonight on DC News Now at 5, finding solutions on crime. We have team coverage tonight, breaking down everything Mayor Bowser and community leaders discuss to make a change. And discussing disparities. A meeting that was recently postponed in Frederick is back on tonight. We'll take a look at the issues they're tackling. And stretching your dollar, a new inflation report shows a slowing of price hikes, but there are still ways to cut costs. We'll have what you need to know.
It turned out to be a beautiful day out there, except one thing. We didn't have a totally clear sky. Why exactly is that the case? And will things clear out anytime soon? We'll have your forecast in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Damon, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Mark Hall. Tackling rising crime in the district, Mayor Muriel Bowser held a half-day safety summit earlier today, convening local and federal law enforcement along with community leaders to discuss solutions. We have team coverage tonight. Our Annalisa Gale spoke with DC people on their take on the summit. But we start with DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg, live in the Navy Yard where the crime summit was held. Daniel, violent crime is up 10% in the district.
Well, Mark, it's not just violent crime, but other alarming statistics like carjackings are up 111%. What we found out today is that there seems to be a disconnect between prosecutors and police in many cases. With dozens of community stakeholders at the District Emergency Operations Center, one message was clear.
We will make crime better. We will because we have to.
A panel of federal and local law enforcement answered questions, while breakout sessions focused on adult and juvenile crime.
Our focus groups with our kids in juvenile probation, pretrial, and post-disposition shows most of them were victims of aggression before they engaged in it.
Mayor Muriel Bowser listened to solutions and offered her own, including working with prosecutors not to throw every juvenile in jail.
Give them to us in another way where we can make their services mandatory. And that may mean detention, but it is not DC jail.
In 2022, for 31% of juveniles arrested for violent crimes, this was their first arrest.
There was a lot of discussion in our breakout about supporting and focusing on the whole family.
67% of all arrests in DC last year were not prosecuted. U.S. Attorney Matt Graves says many of those were misdemeanor drug charges.
We, of course, have not been able to test drugs since DFS lost its accreditation.
DFS referring to DC's crime lab. Mayor Bowser called that wholly unacceptable, saying contracts are in place to test drugs. And while prosecutors have a stronger burden of proof than police, she had this to say.
From the outside looking in, people are concerned that one might be more concerned about their conviction rates than they are about working and trying cases.
Now, Bowser said she will use what she learned today to possibly consider legislation, including maybe changing a law that says that people have to be released before their trial. She's trying to get repeat offenders to remain in jail before their trials. We're live in Navy Yard. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, Daniel, thank you. And joining us now is DC News Now's Annalisa Gale with additional coverage on the summit today. Annalisa, we just heard Mayor Bowser discuss public safety with leaders around the community, and those conversations also happening in communities daily, including on 8th Street. Some parts are seeing a slight increase in thefts. What are some business owners saying tonight?
Yeah, Mark, some of the business owners in this community are definitely paying attention to those numbers. We took a look at the latest crime data in the last 3 months in the 1000 block of 8th Street, and we did notice a slight increase in thefts and a noticeably increase in car thefts. I'm going to step out of the way here so you can see this popular corridor here on 8th Street. While the conversation about crime along 8th Street isn't new, it's one that is picking up in light of some of the break-ins and thefts. We spoke to one barber who has been here on 8th Street for more than 20 years. A few months ago, his car was broken into, and he says lately he prefers to close early as a precaution.
Because of knowing the news, knowing your surroundings, you want to take a little more caution. So no, I don't stay as late as I used to, doing 10 and 12 hours at the barbershop. maybe do 7 to 9, depending on what day it is. Other than that, it's pack it up for the next day.
And we've been talking to ANC commissioners as well about this issue, and some say this pattern is heading in the wrong direction. We'll have much more on that coming up at 6 here on DC News Now. Live along H Street, Annalisa Gale, DC News Now.
Annalisa, thank you again. Residents remain concerned about the rise in crime in the district, and you heard the mayor addressing crime will remain a top priority moving forward. And the numbers in the district tell the story. When it comes to violent crime, homicides are up 9% this year compared to last. Sexual abuse is up 51% compared to 2022. Assaults up 2%, and robbery is up 13%. Burglary is down 10%. Vehicle theft is up a shocking 111%. Other types of theft are also up 24%. And the biggest increase is arson, up 300%. We're taking a live look outside tonight. We don't have any clouds in the sky right now, or maybe we do. Nice temperatures today. Let's head over now to meteorologist Damon Madsen with a check on the forecast. And Damon, what's causing that hazy look?
Yeah, Mark, it's not exactly been a clear day, but it's not clouds that are causing that. Satellite and radar picture. There's nothing popping up here across the entire DMV, so no clouds, but it continues to look overcast. The main primary cause of all of this, well, believe it or not, it's the same high pressure center that is allowing us to be so quiet. It's been slowly moving in from the northwest, and this high pressure center originated out of Canada, northwest Canada to be exact, and all the way up that direction, a lot of wildfires are currently burning, and just the way the weather pattern has gone, a lot of that wildfire smoke has been allowed to drift all the way down across much of the northeast and here into the DMV. This darker gray shade we have over us at this current moment shows that very thick smoke that, again, it's high enough in the atmosphere that it's not going to have any impact on us here at the ground level, but it certainly is filtering out that sunshine and giving us that hazy, milky look to the sky. So aside from that wildfire smoke in those upper levels, it continues to be an extremely beautiful evening with calm, very mild conditions as temperatures fall back out of the 70s into the upper 60s. And hey, with the smoke in place, folks, you're going to catch a very amazing sunset tonight. So just watch out for that. But the question remains as we head toward the weekend, do we get some clear sky? And is there still rainfall in the forecast by Mother's Day? We'll have your full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. In Fairfax County, police are looking for a man connected to a shooting in Bailey's Crossroads. It happened early today in Glen Carlin Drive, and police say the victim was shot in the parking lot. He has life-threatening injuries. Officers still searching for a suspect. Within the last year, 6 shootings have happened within 2 miles of today's shooting that has left 2 people dead. And happening now, a virtual meeting scheduled in late April by the Frederick County Health Department was disrupted and had to be postponed because of racist comments that were made during the presentation. The meeting was set up to present the findings on a public survey regarding disparity in the availability of quality maternal care for Black women. Well, the meeting is now taking place, and tonight, and DC News Now's Michaela Newton takes a closer look.
After a previous attempt was disrupted by racist statements, the Frederick County Health Department will be discussing their Black maternal health disparity study. The Frederick Health Department rescheduled its public feedback session from April 25th after being disrupted by racist comments. The county has not released the statements that were made or revealed who made them. However, in a statement, Frederick County Executive Jessica Fitzwater addressed the situation, saying in part, "In order to drive more positive Black maternal health outcomes, we must acknowledge that racism is a public health crisis." The study released by the health department shows that Black women in the county are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women in the United States.
To be able to advocate for yourself, as well as have somebody that's able to advocate and express exactly what you have in place, you have to be heard.
Wednesday night's rescheduled public feedback session is for people to hear the data and broaden the conversation on what steps the county should take to close the Black maternal health disparity gap.
We know that the status of the health of the mother or the birthing person before they're even pregnant really plays a role into the experiences during and after that pregnancy also.
Participants will be able to ask questions in the Q&A feature, and feedback will be collected in a form by May 21st. Reporting in Frederick County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for DC News Now.
Michaela, thank you. We're going to have more on this story once the meeting is over, coming up on DC News Now at 7. And new tonight, an FDA panel has backed over-the-counter sales of the birth control pill. The unanimous vote paves the way for what could be the first birth control pill available. Now, a bigger decision is set to come later this summer. In Washington County, Maryland, it's attracting more residents and, as a result, is experiencing more demand for public services. But county commissioners continue to say that they're opposed to raising taxes in order to provide more services. Residents had the opportunity to voice their wishes at a public hearing, and they asked the county for more attention to programs for seniors, volunteer fire departments, and education. Those speaking out expressed their feelings that the three areas are underfunded.
An ambulance is about $350,000 to $400,000 to buy a new one of those. Ladder trucks are ranging $1.5 to $1.75 million.
In addition to teachers, you need social workers, you need more counselors, you need more. We have student intervention specialists.
The commission is continuing to accept public comment as it prepares its fiscal year 24 spending plan. For most people, Saturday will signal the end of their education, and for Howard University, they will host its 155th commencement program. DC News Now's Dave LaValle has more on who will deliver the keynote address.
Get to see President Joe Biden speak.
Andrew Owanei can't control his enthusiasm. The commander-in-chief will deliver the commencement address at his graduation from Howard University.
They're just spoiling us at this point.
The remarks come when polls find the president has an approval rating, according to Reuters, of just 40%.
I just think that it's good that he's just coming out here and he's, just appreciating us for who we are.
Others, like fellow senior Vaughn Collins, are concerned.
I guess I should be worried if the Democrat candidate is not doing so hot. So maybe a bit of concern.
Some pending graduates are not too surprised by the president's appearance Saturday.
Howard always does it big, so I'm just honored to be in a class of 2023.
I just finished school.
Can I say 3, walk towards me?
I just finished getting some grad pics taken.
1, 2, 3.
3 days before graduation finds many students getting ready for one of the biggest days of their lives.
We're ready to kick things off.
The President of the United States will be on hand to help university graduates celebrate.
And that was our Dave LaValle reporting. President Biden is the 7th sitting U.S. president to deliver a keynote address at Howard University. The ceremony begins at 10 a.m. on Saturday.